Hi, Venus and Pluto. It's Tony. How are you? I have mango. I'm in my mango era. Yeah, I'm in my mango era. So, very sweet in comparison to the other one. This video is going to be about the relationship that started my whole spiritual journey. And, you know, I'm sorry if I'm eating in this, but like, I just want mangoes. I'm sorry. I don't eat the skins, so I'm kind of like, we're gonna, and it's so tasty. But the guy who started this all, so this guy is no longer in my life, but he was in my life for like almost a decade of like all this happening. Yeah, almost a decade. I won't say his name because like on the off chance he like ever finds this video, and who knows, he like might be watching this shit. He may be like a long time watcher of like my channels. I just don't know because he's blocked on everything. He has a burner account. He got a burner phone, burner account. He got everything. I don't know. But you know when you like you post stuff and you feel like somebody you block or somebody you don't talk to is like watching? That's how you feeling. The curtains and agreements. It's the fam. But like sometimes I be feeling like he like does watch or pop in. I know somebody is watching and popping in because I was kind of like, I was with that feeling, you know? Let me pause. I'm gonna drink this Coca-Cola, but this is like so delicious. I may just come back after I eat this because like I'm getting distracted by the mango. So like, let me just like come back in like 2 seconds. One more second because I gotta like, I still have this much left. I cut it up like this, 2 of them, and then the center I kind of like eat around the like big ass, like what is it, seed, big ass seed. I feel like it's not. Is it a seed? I don't know. Anyway, bye. Let me like do this for a sec. Okay, kind of back. I am going to cut this. Cut the skin off. Like I don't eat the skin, so you know. There's anyway. So you know the guy that started this whole thing off. I went to college with him, right? So I went to college with him. He wasn't in my major or anything like that, but we met when I was working on campus because I got a campus job. It was my junior year, I think, and maybe my sophomore year. I don't know. One of the years. I was a history major, so I worked at a museum, and yeah, I like met this guy, and it was like cool or whatever. It wasn't like anything. We would like just talk. It wasn't like anything serious, but yeah, we would like just talk as people, like you know, people to people. It wasn't like anything weird, but yeah. Talked to him. Eventually, I graduated. Didn't really think much of him or situation because I mean, I was graduating, living my life, and then eventually, like, I did start talking to him. It was kind of weird. Cause in my mind I was like, you know, there were certain things I was starting to feel, but I couldn't pinpoint what it was. It wasn't directly a crush. Like, it was like, yeah, but it was like something more, like something like, this is why like them twin flame things be getting us. Cause it felt like that. It felt like it was more, like it was something like soul calling about it. And I kind of was like, where is this coming from? Cause like, what is this? Where is this coming from? So I graduate college. I get my first job, which is the same job that I was doing over the summers. I personally didn't really have like a plan. So during this period, I was like very like lost. I don't say that, like lost. I lied when I said I was not going to eat this nigga. Anyway, I know I'm not like the best mango eater. But some people just eat it whole, right? They eat it with the skin and shit. I don't really like. But yeah, there's something so spiritual like about this. It just felt so weird. Like why do I feel this weird vibe from this dude? Like I've never felt this way before. And it's just like I said, a soul calling. And then I'm sitting here at 22 trying to figure this shit out. Anyway, we got into a debate one time. And after that debate, I like made up this ruse to get his number. And I got his number. And we started talking after that. And not romantic, but just talking, like human to human. Talking. And, you know, I was like semi trying to date. Like I had met this dude. I met this dude on the, like I wasn't driving at the time. It would take another like 5 years before I started driving. So I met this dude on the bus and I let him walk me kind of home, but not really. I'm like, girl, you really got a lot of, like, you really are a piece of work. Cause what? But yeah, so I was like trying to date, kinda. And so like this dude that I met on the bus, we were walking home, like to my house, like not directly to my house because I know who the fuck it was. So I was like, I stopped like a block or two over. I was like, all right, thanks. Because it was like 11 o'clock at night. Thank you. Anyway, the next day, that just went off. That dude completely, like, I don't know what happened to him in terms of like his attitude. Like he just sent like this really nasty message about not acknowledging him and saying good morning, which what, like I don't know you, like, you know, like I don't know you. And I basically just cut that shit off. And I never saw him again either, so it was kind of like good, great. Good. So that's done. And then I'm like messaging this guy that like started the spiritual journey, and he was going through a really rough time because he like lost a friend. Yeah, he like lost a friend in a very tragic way. And so like me putting my foot in my mouth because I'm like focused on like this thing, he's like, I just lost a friend. Like I just lost a friend. Like my friend died. Like I don't, like, you know, like this isn't like a real issue for me. This is not like, this is not an issue for me. I'm like, oh my god, like, oh shit, like, you know how to like stick your foot in their mouth type. So I apologize or whatever. And yeah, it was cool. And we kept talking, but something about this relationship, like, still, I was just still like, oh my god, like, what is it about this person? And it wasn't like, it was, okay, like, when you like somebody, like, a lot of stuff clicks in, So it felt like it was clicking in, but I was like, like it still isn't. Like, it's so hard to describe because it's not like just like, oh, I have all these crush feelings. It was like, it's a really weird space to describe because it was really a spiritual awakening type thing. And I know people use that term to talk about like twin flames and just like the ratchetness that ensues, but it really feels like a spiritual awakening. It's like something was turned on within me by the end of 2016, I want to say. I think it was the end of 2016. It was like I had these like really big feelings, but it was like something else that I couldn't describe. And I ended up like talking to him about that and like messaging him. Was like, oh, I have the like all these feelings and stuff like that. But it was like a switch being turned on, and that switch has been turned on. And because of that experience of feeling, it also made me feel really uncomfortable. It was something emotionally disturbing about this event. Like, sorry y'all, my boobs. Something emotionally disturbing about this guy, and it wasn't like a huge negative thing. Like, it's so hard to describe. It wasn't like I felt like, oh, he would be abusive, or like he would be rude, or he would be like asshole. It was like just something emotionally like stirring about his presence that like made me like, I don't know, it was just like something strange. At this time I had changed jobs, so like I worked summers and then graduated and took this job at one place, got another job at another place, and like at the end of the year while I was at the other place, I was talking to this guy, and like that those feelings were coming out. Anyway, I decided to try my hand at grad school again because I attended grad school right after college. Didn't work out. And then I tried to do it again. I tried to apply for like these scholarships because I was aging out of it. And I was like, well, I need to know. I just want to know. Even if I don't get it, I don't want to be like, oh, I never would have known. Like, I don't know where I could have been with that like experience. No, but like, I want to know. So I was going through that, trying to like find my way. And I felt very like lost. Like, I was just going through the motions. Like, I hadn't really wanted to be a history major, but I was. I hadn't really wanted to like do these jobs, but they were available to me. Like, I just felt like I wasn't living a purposeful life. And I will say, as a side note, people who like end up choosing to like end their lives, I think a lot of people like look at it and they don't understand. But I feel like a lot of times I was like heading down that path like emotionally. Like, things were fine and that I had a job and stuff like that, but I had no like real purpose. And I feel like I was just there. I was just like living life, and it was just like it was like emotionally hard. Like, it was just emotionally hard because like I had no emotional center within myself, and it was like I was just there. Like, I wasn't doing something I wanted to do. I wasn't living the life that I felt like I should have been living at that point. Like, I was just here. Like, and when people end up like ending their lives, especially, like, it's like usually sometimes it's like a lack of like true like purpose, like something that gives you like something to, I don't want to say live for, but something to do like really genuinely, and you feel like you're very connected with it. I wasn't at that space yet. And then also people like, you know, this is the way out for them. Like, this is that, like, there's a lack of seeing options, you know. And I was in this space a little bit because eventually in 2017 I tried to go back to grad school again. Didn't work out. Left my job because I couldn't take time off, even though initially when I went to go do it or wanted to do it, I was told, yeah, and then like the rug was pulled underneath me. So anyway, leave that job. I got in the scam thing, sending money, and it's just like, girl, like, you were just not focused. I not ran away, but I like took this random trip to New York and stayed in a hostel for like 2 days or something like that to go to this like business conference that, like, I don't know, it was just was like, I don't know, I was just like trying shit at this point in my life. And like it was just really hard to like it was just really hard. Like I don't know, emotionally I just felt like I just wasn't going anywhere, and I ended up breaking down crying in front of my professor, the one that I was going for the second master's for, and she was like, if you don't want to do it, like don't do it. Like she was like, at least you know now before you get all the way to the end and then realize you don't want to do it. And the crazy thing is, I think had I had a lot better circumstances in the background, I could have completed like both of those degrees, and this would have been my third master's. I think I could have done it, but like circumstances back then, who I was back then was such that I wasn't going to continue with that, and I was very like listless. Like I was whatever, and so yeah, like I was just like kind of lost. So I was still talking to this guy, and eventually it was just like this toxic cycle type thing where we would kind of fall off and he would fall off and I would fall off and stuff like that. And so this cycle continued, like we would still kind of maybe talk and stuff like that, and I still had these like crazy feelings, but it was like kind of made clear more than once that like they were not reciprocated. And me being me I did not take the hint and just like leave. I was just like, like I could like try better and like it can work out and then we can like be together and stuff, because like I don't understand, like if it's not him, who is it, like and so I'm like, I'm like really emotional and crying and stuff like that, and that has like not that has not stopped. That has not stopped to this day. One thing you will find me is with a tear. You'll always find me with a tear. Doritos, the soda, and a tear. But like I was just like, it's not working out. I don't understand why he doesn't see me that way. Anyway, so it's like, dumb shit like that. When you look back on it, you're like, this shit was dumb as fuck. Like, oh my god. But yeah. I can like laugh about it now, but like back then I was like devastated. This dude did not like me. But the thing about it is, it was like, doesn't like me, but then like would inquire whenever we did reconnect, like, yeah, so how's dating? Like, do you have anyone yet? Like, and I'm like, bro, like, no. I was like, I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. Like, why? Like, why is this not? Why is this not working? Anyway, so eventually, like I said, I left grad school. Then with the scam thing, I like sent money to this like random people, and then so like I wasn't saving money, and like that's another thing. I know myself enough to know now that like I would, like, as really like just broken as I was, I definitely fit the archetype of the person who like when they have a person would ditch everybody else and then go and be with that person, and then like when like we broke up, I would be utterly devastated because I made that person my world and I didn't make my own world with him. And financially I feel like I suffered because I focused my energy on things that like didn't matter and like still don't matter in present day. And as a result, like I feel like I went after people who like were striving in their own lives and I wasn't striving in mine. And so it was kind of like not like a jealousy thing, but it's kind of like what they were like what they had I was lacking, like a career path and a sense of purpose, or just like at basic a career path that they were doing, and like even if they didn't like it, it was paying the bills and it would build them to the next thing. Like I didn't have that. Like I was unemployed by this time in 2018. I was like basically unemployed and living at home where I live now. And yeah, like it was just like a really tough time because I was unemployed for nearly like 2 years. And so like 2017 to 2018, and then 2018 rolled into 2019. And what ended up happening, and I will forever like be grateful for this person. Like I just don't want them back in my life. But like if we had conversations, it would be cool. But like, yeah, like let's hang out like every weekend now. Let's text each other now. But like, I would be totally open to having not one of those shows where like because we weren't exes, we were never together. But like those shows where like you reconnect with people and just have like that one last conversation or something like that. Oh my god, my collar! I'm trying to get this together. Anyway, so so yeah, he eventually like he decided he was going to move somewhere, and I was like, this is devastating. And I remember like understanding the energetic shift. So by now I'm into tarot. I think I've got my first tarot deck or first few tarot decks. My first tarot deck was the Zombie Tarot. Still have it. And on an animism tip, eventually the energy left for a really long time. It's still not 100% back, but I feel like I used it so much that energetically it just fizzled out. And now it feels, when I use it, I don't feel any like spirit really there anymore. And I used to because I would get like really good readings and stuff like that, but I think I use it so much that like the spirit is gone from it. Or I haven't used it in a way that it really likes yet, and it's been like nearly 10 years. So yeah, so at this point I'm getting into tarot, I'm getting into astrology, but tarot specifically, like I'm finding people online. Like I don't know like what prompted me to like start looking this up. I think it's because I always used to read my horoscope, so I would watch Cancer because I'm a Cancer sun, and then eventually I got into my natal chart like probably 2018, 19, started really getting into my natal chart, and then definitely 2020 beyond, like really started moving. But yeah, at some point he leaves, he moves, and then we stop talking because we have like a non-argument, and that broke me. It was like Venus and like Scorpio season. It was like some season where some shit was in Scorpio, and I was like devastated. I was so devastated. I mean, I cried off and on for like weeks, if not months. And I was like so deeply like affected by this guy leaving my life that like I just felt like I couldn't do anything. And that's what I'm saying. Like I was one of the people that's like really dangerous. Not to the point where I couldn't eat, but I was definitely like pretty depressed because like I still was like unemployed also. Like so it's like, you know, this person was also like occupying my time and thoughts because I wasn't finding a job. Like I would be applying for stuff and I wouldn't get calls back, or I would be like overlooked or like denied or flat out rejected or whatever. And you know, that wore my self-esteem too. And so when I talked about the bit earlier about people who decide to like end it all, you know, I was getting to that point where I just felt like I have no reason to be here. And yeah, like it was just really hard because it was just like people like ragging on me, like, get a job, I don't understand why you don't get a job. And then just like you're trying to get a job, and then it's like you don't know what you want to do. You're kind of just like floating along, and you're just kind of like, you feel lost. And it's just like you would think you would have this stuff figured out, and it's not like you need your whole life figured out, but you would think you would have like a plan. It's like, and another thing that was happening at this time was that like I was somebody who like, I wasn't like somebody who took like advanced courses and stuff like that, but I was somebody who like people generally understood would do like well academically and therefore well in life. And I felt like a really like this period I felt like such a failure because I did well in college. You know, I did what I feel like people told me to do, and I followed rules and I paid attention and I did the stuff, and it felt like I didn't have, like I could have just done bad shit, you know, and my life would have turned out a lot better. And dealing with like the emotions of not feeling good enough and feeling like I was the kid that was the smart kid or one of the smart kids, and now like there's still some people who are the smart kids and they've gone on and they're successful, and then I'm lagging behind, and it's not like necessarily just a time thing, like, oh, I'm not hitting the marks of where people are in my like peer group, but it's just like I feel like I'm not going anywhere. I'm going nowhere in life. And that's a hard feeling to have. Like, it's not a good feeling to have, to be like, I don't know where I'm going in life. I don't feel like I'm going anywhere in life. It's a very dangerous kind of place because you start to just numb out a lot. And that's what I was doing. Like, I was numbing out. My hygiene was like out the toilet. Like, it was just in the toilet. It wasn't, and I wouldn't be doing anything. Like, if I had a little bit of money, I would, like, go somewhere. Interestingly enough, at this time, there were inklings of hope. Seeing going the bus. So I started doing this program that was like a community type program and learning about art and like videography skills and photography and stuff like this. And I think, begin to flourish again. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that during this time, I after grad school, I like wrote a poem and I got published at the second university I went to for the undergrad like thing. Even though I was a grad student, I got published in this grad thing. And that poem, I feel like that poem caused me to write other poems, and it caused me to self-publish. And I'll say all this to say that I am now an MFA creative writing student in poetry, and so all of that work paid off because it was the poems that I submitted and got published other places. It's wrote and self-published, and then wrote and all the kind of, like those poems during that period that was so hard. That was my portfolio, and that is how I got into the MFA program. So it worked out in the end, but it was a really hard emotional time for me. And then also, I learned that I like art and design and stuff like that because I was taking these classes and learning about them, and I was getting this little bit of money and taking the bus, and I was so terrified to drive and all that kind of stuff. So I I had a lot of like issues and shit like that. So I'm gonna like stop here because it's almost 30 minutes, and then I'll go to another, and then I'm gonna come back. So yeah, bye.